how to destabilize Nigeria. Mr. President was convinced beyond reasonable doubt. Through what? Through our elder brother, Alhaji Muhammad, who happens to be in charge of fake news and also hate speeches. What happened? He only one of Mr. President that what was being promoted is against this and this and this in National Broadcasting Commission Act and in this and this law. Mr. President approved and was conveyed to us, and we immediately shut down a social media platform in Nigeria for almost 1 year until we gave them conditions and they accepted all the conditions in writing. Then Mr. President approved again for them to be unblocked. Then we were directed to unblock them, and this is what we did. But how can a Minister of Communications be monitoring fake news? Then where is the Minister of Information in charge of media? If you anticipate me to regulate legal content or illegal, where is the Attorney General of the Federation? His ministry is the only one recognized constitutionally. All ministers are constitutional, but only Ministry of Justice is a ministry recognized constitutionally. But how do you expect me to say this is legal and this is illegal while you have the chief legal officer to the federal government of Nigeria? How do you expect me to say this is a criminal? Where is police DSS? Where is military? Where is National Security Advisor's office? How can a Minister of Communication sit down and say this is crime, this is not crime? We should be fair to ourselves. Our only work, when Mr. President approves, then we can be directed to implement. But we don't have anything to deal with content. The same observation you have with regards to illegal, crime, and many more, I have the same observation. And I'm very uncomfortable as a Nigerian, but I don't have the mandate to do anything. My only mandate, when these institutions obtain an approval, then I can be directed to implement. So the problem is not with the technology. Our work is technology. Any technology to be imported to Nigeria, this is where our role is. We give type approval. You cannot import mobile phone or computer or any communication device without our approval. We only approve the technology. We give type approval. If type approval is granted either by NCC or NIDA with regards to their mandate, then that technology can be imported. But content online, it is not in any way our own mandate, and we have nothing to do. And no institution has obtained Mr. President approval for any content that should not be online where we fail to take it off. It has never happened. Our own work is to implement. We regulate technology, but we don't regulate content online. And whenever it is approved, we'll implement. The second question, with regards to the policy of NIN and SIM registration being implemented, and some people are still committing crime. I have answered that one superficially in the first part. This falls under cybercrime. Cybercrime is under the Office of the National Security Advisor and other security institutions. Our role is cybersecurity, to ensure we minimize the possibility of a criminal deploying the technology to commit crime. So our work is proactive. And at the same time, if the crime is committed and our intervention is required officially, then we will be able to intervene. So here, when it comes to minimizing the probability of criminals committing crime, we reintroduce the national NIN and SIM registration. Two, we enforce the NIN registration. NIN registration is, by our law in Nigeria, NIMC Act 2007, is mandatory for all citizens. Mandatory. Check section 27 of NIMC Act. And failure to obtain NIN is an offense. Look at the punishment in section 27 and 28. So what we did is not in any way introducing new thing, but rather enforcing an existing legislature which had been in place 13 years without critical implementation. So our only crime here is we have enforced the law that has been ignored for 13 years. If you can call that a crime. This is what you may wish to say. The law of NIMS Act makes it mandatory even for a newborn baby. That newborn baby must be enrolled within 180 days. If his father fails to enroll him, it's an offense. He can either be fined or be imprisoned, or both of them. It's there in the law. So my only problem with people is the enforcement of the law. As long as there is law, I will continue to enforce it under my supervision. If you don't want it to be enforced, it is better for the law to be scrapped completely so that we cannot have any problem. My brother, with regards to the criminals, the allegation of criminals using SIM to make phone call. Firstly, I want you to know that from the time we introduced the policy to date, no crime has been committed in Nigeria in which any security institution reaches out to us for intervention by providing the biodata or providing the location where we have failed to provide. It has never happened to me as a minister. If there is any letter from any government official that has been acknowledged by my office and I have failed to produce, let that letter be made public to you or to Nigerians to see. It has never happened. Secondly, as I said, it's not our work to categorize this is a crime or this is not a crime. It's for security institutions. As far as we are concerned, the information and conversation of each and every citizen in Nigeria must be confidential, based on our constitutional provision, Section 37. However, in Cybercrime Act 2015, there is a provision of lawful intercept. Lawful intercept can only be conducted by security institutions, not by us. When two conditions are fulfilled, number one, security institutions should establish prima facie case that we have a high probability expectation that crime has been committed by this guy. Secondly, that request must be formalized to us, and the person to formalize should not be a minimum of a director, either in police, DSS, NIA, or any other institution. When these conditions are fulfilled, we are mandated by law to provide the information required. If my relative is kidnapped today, as a minister, I have no power to access the database because the conditions is establishing prima facie case. I am not in charge of that. Secondly, the person to sign must be a minimum of a director in the security institutions. I am not in that position. So even if I'm affected, I have to formalize. When they send officially, then we can do. So what we did, if you look at our priority areas, nothing has been mentioned out of it with regards to even cybercrime or cybersecurity. But in order to be proactive and minimize, we have established Cybersecurity Incidents Response Team under NCC in 2022. The center is effective, releasing advisory notes to our citizens, alerting them about potential attacks. Number two, we have integrated computer emergency response and readiness team under NITDA. And these two centers are working 24/7, alerting Nigerians and other government institutions about potential cyber attacks on our cyberspace. This is our role, proactive. But when a crime is committed, it's outside our mandate. That one should go to security institutions. Furthermore, in few instances where we have been contacted, in all of them, we have provided the required support. And I'm glad to say in all of them, our intervention supported government in intercepting the alleged criminals. There is a good example in Kano when an elderly person was kidnapped in one of the northwestern states, taken to Kano. We were contacted, even though they were not using his phone, but we provided the location and security institutions intercepted and arrested him. In Abuja here, there are two major instances, and there is even a third one. The third one, FCT minister liaised with the security. There was a threat to one of our traditional rulers in Abuja. Within 60 minutes, when he reached out to me and he engaged security institutions, we provided all the information required. So we are not in any way a security institution. You cannot come to us with a mobile phone and say, please, let me have the biodata. If we are allowed to do that, then the confidentiality is going to be abused by many citizens. So there is a criteria to it. And this criteria is not 100% under us. Our only work, when the conditions are fulfilled, we provide. And thirdly, criminals today, they hardly use their phone numbers. When they kidnap someone, they use the telephone of the kidnapped, not their own. So in few instances, when the conditions are met and we verified, we found out that the kidnapped, his phone was being used to call his relatives. However, if our intervention is required, we will be able to narrow out the area where the phone call is coming from, and that will seriously and significantly minimize the challenge to security institutions to know that this is the location where the call is coming from. Even in that regard, whenever we are contacted, we provide what is required. It is not my work to assess the work of our security institutions. They are doing the best they can, and I always give them my support, and I pray to the Almighty to continue to support them to make our country very stable and secure for all citizens. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. It is this side where the industry of fake news is, this side. This is the minister that has been fighting fake news for more than 7.5 years. On a more serious note, I never knew a day would come when the media will be so concerned and be so worried about fake news. Absolutely. Because when this issue started, I remember in 2017, we devoted an entire National Council of Information in Plateau State, Jos, to address this issue. We were lambasted and lampooned by the same media that we should face other serious issues, that fake news is not our problem. In 2018, we decided to take this battle to every media house to seek their support. A few signed on. But by the time the media took it seriously, it had become a monster that is now even affecting the credibility of the mainstream media. We still continue and will continue to fight fake news. And I'm glad that more and more we are getting your support. Only last week, a veteran journalist wrote an article in which he asked, what is Big Brother doing? And I just laughed. The same veteran journalist, one of those that attacked us when we were, he tried to, fight fake news. And like the Minister of Communication said, when the Twitter platform became the platform of choice to destabilize Nigeria, yes, I went to Mr. President and sought his approval and permission to allow the Ministry of Communications to intervene. And the platform was shut down. But what was your response, media? You are busy hell out of me. You thought the world was going to fall down, that it was the end of the world. How can you shut down Twitter? This is barbaric. You are stifling, the freedom of the press, blah, blah, blah. Today, Nigeria remains the only country in the whole world that will successfully take Twitter. Thank you very much.
I'm afraid because of our time. Okay, let's have it.
Thank you so very much for being on our feet, the Honorable Minister. My name is Glory Ohagu. I talk the voice of Nigeria. Yes, please. Thank you for showing us the roadmap to reducing the price of 1 gigabyte from 1,200 to 350 before the set time. But we're worried. We're worried about the cost of this reduction to the expenditure of the ordinary Nigerian who is depending on internet services for daily living, for work, for telemedicine and all. The space of drop times and yet at the same cost. We have a Skylink and yet you're opening one page for 20 minutes, you can't download. We've transited from 3 gig to 4 gig, we're heading to 5 gig, and the speed is still the same, and yet the price has been reduced. But we are not feeling the impact of this price reduction. So, sir, with all those things that you have put in place, how do we enjoy the benefits of this reduction and the Skylink penetration? Because when I go to Ogu in Enugu State, my ancestral home, I'm almost at zero on Glo and MTN. When I go to Uyo, my maternal home, for holidays, I am undulating like I'm going through the potholes of certain parts in Nigeria. So how do we get to feel this impact and input? Thank you once again. I love your presentation. After transiting from NITSDA to where you are, we didn't expect anything less, but we won't acquit you. We must get value. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Minister, sir. Your response.
Thank you very much, my sister Gloria from the Voice of Nigeria. Firstly, I hope that your statement was you couldn't feel the impact, not we. If we say we, I am part of we, and I'm feeling the positive impact. Particularly, I still use my money to buy credit and make phone call and browse internet, the same with all other Nigerians. I have not allowed any telecommunication company to give me 1 naira of broadband or 1 naira to make a call since I became a minister. It's a tradition that was practiced in Nigeria, but I stopped it. If there is one company that has ever transferred 1 naira to my phone, they may wish to make it public. I'm using my salary, the same with all other Nigerians, to buy credit and make phone call and also browse using my telephone. As I'm here with internet, I'm using my money and I'm feeling the impact. Secondly, about the issue of our quality of service, I agree with you that in some parts of the country, we do experience poor quality of service. And I'm always on the neck of NCC. I always challenge them to discover what are the problems. Our recent findings show that our findings since 2019 to date remain the same, that the challenges affecting quality of services are completely outside our sector. Number one is the issue of power, national grid. If you look at the facilities that we approve through type approval, all of them are of global standard. There is not any facility in the telecommunications sector today in Nigeria that is substandard. We have never in any way compromised the global standard when it comes to type approval. So this issue has been addressed. The second issue, these facilities, based on how they have been manufactured, they are supposed to function on national grid. Today in Nigeria, they are being powered by generators. As I earlier mentioned, we manage 32,800 generators in order to sustain the sector. If we are on national grid and the power is off, then your phone should be the same with your radio or television. When there is no power, your television is off until you on your generator. But today, the power is on and off, but still you can make a phone call. Why? Because the facilities are being sustained by generators 24/7. So any technology you develop, inbuilt to be sustained by national grid, and you are sustaining it through generator, definitely it will affect the quality of service, undoubtedly. This is outside our mandate. And I believe this administration has achieved a lot, particularly in the last 1 year, in order to ensure we increase power generation, power distribution, power transmission. A lot has been achieved. And facilities are being imported into Nigeria. Even today, in media's platform, the Minister of Power shared some major achievements of this administration through the importation of certain facilities in order to increase our power generation, transmission, distribution, and many more. So it is work on progress. I strongly agree with you. Whenever there is a significant improvement on national grid and our facilities are on national grid, definitely the quality of service will automatically enhanced. Will automatically be enhanced. Issue number 2 is the issue of vandalization of infrastructure, particularly fiber optics cable. Through road constructions, bridge constructions, building constructions, building stadium, airports, and many other infrastructure. In the process of doing that, our telecommunication infrastructures are being damaged. That is why yesterday I obtained an approval of the Federal Executive Council for National DIC-1 policy to ensure that in our design and construction of any infrastructure, whether road, stadium, airspace, any important building, there must be a provision of ducts, so that through that ducts, we will be able to be laying our cables. And by implication, the cables will not be damaged during road construction. Only yesterday, Federal Executive Council has approved it. So when there is any damage in fiber optics, it will not stop the service immediately, but rather it will switch all the traffics from the damaged cable to another cable that has not been damaged. For example, you have a double lane road, and accidentally there is an accident, or let's say maybe road construction on the other side. Then it happens that going and coming back, both of them are using the same lane while the other one has been blocked. Will the traffic be normal? Will you be able to drive on the same speed if both of them are open? It will not be possible. So it is the same with our facilities. If one fiber optic is damaged, it will automatically switch all the traffic from that one to the nearest one that is available. So if there is 1 million traffic on one, 1 million in the other, now this one is damaged. All the 1 million traffic of this will come back to the next one. So now this will be taking care of 2 million people instead of 1 million. So that will automatically bring down the quality, because the traffic in one lane is too much. So this is what is happening. So if the issue of damaging infrastructure is reduced, then definitely the quality of service will be enhanced. In only 1 year, we have reported cases of damaging fiber optics in over 13,000 locations in Nigeria. Over 13,000 locations. And some people will even come and cut off the fiber optics still and go away. This is being reported, and this will definitely affect the quality of service. Instead, when they are constructing roads, they don't even notify us, come and take your fiber optics. They will come and cut them all, and they will proceed with their construction. They don't care what will happen. What are you expected to do in that regard? And none of them will provide even 1 naira for you to fix it. The same burden will go back to the operators. I don't know any responsible country where this has been happening today. So that is why, before sometimes we even talk about government, we should try to be more responsible as citizens. Making Nigeria a better place is a collective responsibility. Government will lead, there is no doubt, but all of us must change ourselves. When I have two weaknesses and I address one of them out of two, for example, at least Nigeria is one problem less. If you have one and you address it, Nigeria is one problem less again. So if we agree that we are not infallible, we are willing to make adjustment and make this country a better place, there is no doubt we can achieve it. But there is no way where we agitate for positive change and none of us is willing to change. That is impossible. We cannot go anywhere. Secondly, I have been requested to inform you that two of the CEOs are not here yet. I have directed them to represent us in the State House for an ongoing meeting about the project to be commissioned in the digital economy sector by His Excellency Mr. President in Kano on 30th and 31st January. So now there is an ongoing preparatory meeting. I had to tender my apology in the State House to send the DG of NIDA Kashifino Abdullahi and MD Galaxy Backbone Professor Muhammad bin Abubakar to lead the team of government officials there so that I will be here without requesting my elder brother to reschedule the discussion. That is why they are not with us here.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Gentlemen of the media, this is the moment for today. We want to thank you for your time. We thank the Honorable Minister for sharing those useful information. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this engagement. Thank you and God bless you. May we please rise as we take the national anthem, please. Thank you and God bless you.
Information is power. Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U-Report link, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.